We're actually at Tramin in this fantastic green-framed winery, and you can see the view looking north from there. That's the Lago di Caldaro just north. It's just a blanket of vines covering the floor, covering the edges of the valley with apple trees on the valley floor. And we're going to be indulging with the Pinot Bianco from Tramin. I'm a huge fan of Pinot Bianco. Forgive me, but I drink more Pinot Bianco than Pinot Grigio.
Fine. Don't worry.
And I think that it's the Alto Adige got huge potential. I think it's really one of the great. I think Pinot Nero, Lagrein, and Pinot Bianco, for me, are the most expressive wines here in the Alto Adige. So Wolfgang, tell us a little bit about your Pinot Bianco. Tell us a little bit first about the history of the Cantina, because very unusual in the Alto Adige. We talked about this earlier today. Lots and lots of cooperatives that produce wine at the same level as the private wineries, which is surprising for a lot of people because most people think co-ops, shitty wine, you know, it happens. But here the wines are really the same quality, maybe different styles than some of the private producers. But can you talk a little bit about the history?
About the history,
sure.
Yeah. In the area, so we historically are the most southern German-speaking area, so we have a lot, culture-wise, a lot to do with the German-Austrian influence, and also
very precise and punctual. And
yeah, that probably helps to manage all the people. And about 100 years ago, back to the Austrian-Hungarian period, the cooperative started, and as a background, historical background, or fact that the vineyards in Alto Adige are very fractionated. So there are a lot of owners with very small vineyards. So they can't make their own wines, they can't afford all the technical issues. So the idea was to get together, to have more power, to be bigger, and to make their own wine. So that started about 100 years ago here in the winery Tramin, like with other cooperatives in the area. To give you an idea, about 70% of the Alto Adige area is managed by cooperatives due to the fact of the small owners.
So I just went back to the map, and we can see Tramin is pretty much the center of the map. It's just to the left of the center. Exactly. And you actually joined with another co-op on the other side of the valley, so you produce wines that run from vines from one side of the valley right across the valley floor to the other side.
Yeah, we do the step over the valley, as in the bottom floor. We don't have any vineyards, only apple trees, and on both sides of the valley, on the hills, on the slopes, we have the vines between 700 feet up to almost 2,500 feet.
Oh, you're using feet now. You're getting fancy.
Yes.
I thought we were going to talk about meters, but we got feet. So this is one of the fascinating things for me, because one of the great things, one of the reasons everybody produces all the grapes is at 700 feet you have the perfect climate for one grape. At maybe 1,000 feet, a different grape goes in.
Exactly.
1,200, a different grape.
Exactly.
And you can make a range of styles. So it's like going maybe 70 or 80 miles north-south, just by going up and down in this valley.
Yeah, it's very important to have the right varieties and the right microclimate. So, again, 100 years ago, about 10 people took the money in the hand and invested in a winery and started to do their own wines and sell the wine instead of the grapes. And what we're doing now, like Alto Adige, has a history of 20 years. Like before 20 years ago, the cooperatives also here did the same, like the cooperatives all on the world, a lot of bulk wine and a lot of easy drinking wine. Then with a new generation of winemakers, the potential of the area was recognized, especially for white wines. New plantings based on the microclimate. And now we can say that it's a high-end quality, very quality-focused winery with more than 200 owners.
And how many wines do you produce?
Like you said, it's about 10 to 15 wines on 2 quality levels, so it's about 30 wines.
30 wines. It's a lot of wines. I don't know how you market so many wines. I don't know how you make so many wines. You keep track of everything. But for a cooperative in particular, it's very important that you can do that, because you have to take the grapes from your producers, and somebody will have a little Chardonnay, a little Gewürztraminer, a little Kerner.
Yeah, that's right. Although we need to say it's very managed. So if an owner likes to do a replanting, it needs to be talked with the winery, with the winemaker who's in charge also of the vineyards, to decide what we need, in a sense, in this place, not on a market-wise, but what we need to plant in this microclimate. So it's not that he says, oh, I like, I don't know, Kerner, and then he says to the winner, so now I have the Kerner, and try to sell it. It's not working that way. So it's very, like in a real company.
It's very cooperative.
Yeah. So the management decides, so here you need to put this and that.
And we talked a little bit today about how you ensure quality, because one of the problems with a lot of cooperatives is they pretty much pay at the same level, so the farmers just plant more, grow more, high yields to get more money, but you sometimes take the risk from the farmer to get the highest quality fruit.
First of all, it starts on, let's say, in a more emotional part and on a communication, to make sure that the growers feel that they own the company, that they're responsible for the success of the company. And once you are able to communicate that, you need to make sure that what you ask is also being paid back in a financial money base.
Of course.
So there's a quite complex system how we rate that, but at the end, to make it very, very simple, the better the quality, the more they get out of the vineyard. And there's a huge range between less than 10,000 euros per hectare up to more than 30,000 euros per hectare. So it makes sense to produce quality.
Of course.
And in certain cases, in the very top-end vineyards, the company, the cooperative, takes the risk of bad weather conditions. So we say keep the grapes on the vines, even if they provide bad weather conditions. And if you lose half of the harvest, the company takes the risk. Because the single producer can't take the risk, because that vineyard is about 30% or 50% of its income. And if you lose the half of that, it wouldn't make sense for him. Yes. We understand it. So we say, even if you bring just 50%, we rate the quality and we pay you the regular.
So you take all the risk for waiting
because
longer.
For the company, it just makes 0.00 something, but it's very, very important to get the highest, most possible quality.
It's also good business. It keeps your members happy, which is a good thing. So we had a question, Pinot Bianco, Pinot Blanc, it's the same grape, it's just French or Italian, the name. We have another question, which we'll get to in a second. Let's taste the wine. Talk a little bit about what should people expect from your Pinot Bianco?
So first of all, Pinot Bianco is a very historical grape variety in the Alto Adige, not the oldest in the area. The oldest on the white wine is probably the Gewürztraminer. But I would say the Pinot Bianco is the more traditional one. It's the one that people uses as to have a white wine. If you're talking Alto Adige, have a glass of white wine, it's
going to be Pinot Bianco.
Going to be Pinot Bianco. Pinot Bianco is a great wine due to his elegance, his delicate flavors, green apples, good nutty flavors, and it's a perfect food wine because it doesn't overpower the food. A perfect wine for delicate food dishes, not too aromatic dishes, for sure.
It's a very easy to drink wine, but it still has some character and complexity. Like I said before, I'm a very big fan